The adoring public can now hear our voices. And I just need to go to... Oh, that's... Just need to go to time.is.
I guess it's not going to give me
Okay, I'm ready whenever.
choice on how I
Oh.
save it, but that's got to be okay, I guess.
Can't have the Mario Party so small.
No.
All right. All right. Where's... I've got time.is somewhere here.
Oh. I got to.
We don't necessarily have to clap right away, but... All right. Whew. Okay.
Hang on one second.
Good, take your time. This is what I was gonna have over here. As you get shrunk down over here.
Okay. Yep. Got a water.
I'm hoping I should be able to, but I'm hoping I can actually wake up on time. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, we can go. We don't have to go long here.
no, I mean, yeah, I mean for good D&D.
Oh, I know, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I just mean we don't have to keep you up too late.
Well, it's not gonna be you keeping me up. It's gonna be myself. But yeah.
That's a mood there.
Just like I've been up late reading Mistborn every night. Good books. They do some good small lady with a big sword stuff. Like, you know, it's like, oh, the sword is like taller than her and she's wielding it effortlessly. I'm like, yes, that's my shit right there. All right. And, okay, I'm gonna hit record on these. Okay. It's all good. Oh, I should turn off NVIDIA broadcast from now. Don't forget. Always a joy. Why does technology need to be so complicated?
Who knows?
True. You're truly blossoming into the perfect boomer.
I don't want to be a boomer. I'm just like, man, we had things figured out, I thought.
I mean, you tend to complicate technology.
I do.
My technology isn't that complicated, and I have a racing rig behind me.
Yeah, no, it's the software. I just...
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I
I
mean,
mean, I've got like this LED panel here.
do you use it as a radar?
It's gonna like blow out. Yeah. Okay. So I got that. It's got like oh, I don't know how to change it
So
right
different
now.
colors.
Yeah, it's RGB.
Yeah, there's a streamer that I like who does sim racing who has a similar panel. I think he made it himself though with like
Yeah, you can make them pretty cheap.
and he uses it as a radar. So when cars are on, like it's mounted like in field of view, and when cars are like to the left side of it'll light up yellow. When they're to the right, the right side will light up yellow. It's amazing.
I got this little guy, and I can like make it flash like a cop car. Don't know what I'm gonna use that for, but I bought it.
Standing outside of your neighbor's windows at night and turning it on.
Oh God, yeah, those fuckers and their noisy shit. But
Oh,
yeah,
the
it's
cops
not
are
super
here.
bright. It's small, but yeah. I mean, we did it once. We called it on once, but we don't need to talk about that while we're streaming.
Well, I'm gonna turn off my kitchen light.
All right.
Okay. Should
All
we
right. Yeah. I'm ready.
hit the collaborative art project powering Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Mm-hmm. If that game is still a thing.
Who's to say with that game if it's ever? It's like Schrodinger's game.
Yes.
It's either coming out or not. It's at the same time.
Yeah. You know, this is good because I noticed that it was set to my headset microphone and not my Yeti. Okay, now I'm hitting record.
Okay. I'll stop mine and restart.
Me too.
I've been going for like 3 minutes.
Yes.
Are you recording a master? Andre?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I that's why I've got two
Figured.
different recording softwares going. One pulling in all of our audio that isn't OBS. It's only going to do a WAV file, I hope.
Cool.
So it should be okay. All right. I got a timestamp there. I got a timestamp there. Okay. Here a timestamp. There a timestamp. Everywhere a timestamp.
Should we do 35?
Sure.
All right.
Great. Okay. I'm gonna Google Docs. I put through some news in there.
I saw. Yeah.
Great. I gotta play more Dodgeball Academia.
Saw a tweet from Phil Spencer. I'm saying this now because I'm going to forget it by the time we get there in news. Talking about how he likes the Steam Deck and how xCloud works great on the Steam Deck.
Man, okay, so I was like, I'm gonna pre-order this and be like, I don't know if I'll get it, and now I'm like,
Oh, I'm buying that
definitely
thing.
getting that
I'm
thing.
buying that thing. Especially
And, like,
after
the longer that I like go, I'm like, oh, I'm really excited about the Steam Deck.
especially after like Linus and Giant Bomb people said that it feels good to use. It's
yeah. That that's really definitely reassuring. That people have said like,
Let's make sure.
and I've heard that people who have hands of the smaller persuasion like mine have said that it still feels good, which is good.
Indeed.
I'm like genuinely really excited now.
Yeah, me too.
It's definitely something I'd like to have, but I'm not going to use it. Like, the use case is so small for me, at least at this point in my life.
No, yeah. For me, it's just because, like, I don't necessarily have, like, a PC that's perfect for gaming.
Yeah.
And I prefer handheld gaming over everything else. So I'm like, oh, this is a perfect indie and weird PC game machine for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Maybe I need to turn myself up a little bit more there. Okay. Oh yeah, I can turn back NVIDIA broadcast on. Narake Blade Point, I see.
Oh, I didn't mean to spell it that way.
All right. Oh, I had my intro and I've lost it. All right, I got it. Hello, and welcome to Gaming Fix, episode 185 on August 14th, 2021. I'm your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite machine. I am joined today by Pat.
That's a broad one.
I know.
Yes.
I'm trying to think.
It could be a simple machine. It could be a complex machine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
World of Machines is your oyster.
my favorite machine is a gun.
Wow.
It's not true. That's not true at all.
Spoken like a true American.
That just was funny. It just came to me as
USA.
being funny. No, it's not a gun. I don't know. It's like probably. Oh, my favorite machine is the 3D printed HOTAS I saw that someone attached to an Xbox controller
No.
in order to play Microsoft Flight Simulator with a HOTAS on Xbox. It's
Okay,
literally
that's
just
rad.
plastic and rubber 3D printed to manipulate the sticks, and it like
Oh
wraps
my God,
around the
I
controller.
love
I'll find the
that
video.
so
It's
much.
it's amazing. That's my favorite
Okay.
machine.
That is the voice of Allison.
Hi. So I was gonna try to come up with something else, but I'm staring at one part of my BB-8 collection, so I gotta go there.
Okay.
Like right in front of my face, there's like
We've selected
several.
extremely useful machines.
Hey, I was gonna go with something like life-changing, like the Iron Lung. Personally, that was gonna be.
Listen,
what
I
would
just like
choose,
Star
but-
Wars robots. Okay.
Where did this
So-
usually these intros have something to do with something we're going to talk about, but like
Nor is something we talked about before the show, and we talked about the Steam machine.
Oh yeah, we
no,
were talking about.
well, we talked about
well-
Steam Decks.
Right, Steam Decks. Right. See, I got Steam machines on the mind because I had a Steam.
You
machine.
just love those Steam machines.
Yeah.
Everyone's
baby.
favorite.
For me, it made sense. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It truly
okay.
is all that matters.
Got to keep you on your toes. We're just riffing here. That's what we do on Gaming Fix. We just riff. Some podcasts, they're scripted. That's fine, but couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
What would we even do if somebody was like, we should keep this to a tight 45 minutes. Let's script it. Let's get
Like
everybody.
when Sam was like, we got to do like 45 minutes.
Wow.
Back in the
Call-outs.
early days.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say like, wow, calling
it would
out
be
our friend Sam.
he's not here to defend himself. It's fine.
No.
Yeah. Love Sam, but that
Uh,
definitely like early in the podcast, it was like we gotta do this in like an hour tops.
Oh, that's
Or
hilarious.
something, 90
in
minutes.
hindsight.
Remember, like the
Yeah.
first,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
first year or so of the podcast. and
You
now
say that
we're
as if
looking
we
at us.
haven't. It hasn't been a constant conversation as to whether the podcast is too long
Oh,
for the
well,
entire time of our recording history.
Yeah. I mean, it's total. It's too long. We've accepted that we're too long.
Yeah.
You listen.
we kind
You
of
as a
accept-
listener
yeah.
can skip whatever parts of this podcast you want to. There are
You
timestamps
as
for
a
a reason.
listener can write in to gaming@fix.space and
Mhm.
tell us this podcast is too damn long.
Yeah.
The rent is too damn high.
Tell you what, if
Okay,
we get
what? Oh, go ahead.
if we get 500 emails in a week saying the podcast is too long, we'll consider making it shorter.
Yes, that.
But if
yes,
we get
we will
emails
consider it.
saying that the podcast isn't long enough, then what will we do?
If we get 100 emails saying the podcast isn't long enough, then it's going to be a 24-hour podcast every weekend.
Oh God.
We'll start a Patreon to address those concerns, so
Yeah.
we can quit our jobs and actually podcast 24/7.
That sounds like a lot. Justin TV over here.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got sleep
I
cams.
was gonna say
we
we're
got-
not the McElroys here.
We're,
we
we-
can-
thank
We're gonna
God.
have some. We're gonna have some. Time that we don't podcast.
Thank Patrick for Patrick.
You're welcome.
What we are is avid video game players.
Enthusiasts, one might say.
Yes, and enthusiastic about video games. Allison, what are you enthusiastic about this week?
Yeah. So, the past couple weeks, I've been playing Dodgeball Academia, which has been really fun. It is on Game Pass, so everybody should be
sweet.
playing it. But I've been playing it on my Switch. But I'm really actually happy that I put the money down on that because it is just a super charming game. So it's basically kind of in that similar vein of something like a Golf Story, where it's an RPG and it's a sports RPG basically. But basically for Dodgeball Academia, you're this kid who goes to this dodgeball school in this universe where dodgeball is like part of the fabric of their society. Like there's backstory about like how the world was saved based off of somebody throwing this ball
And
and
it's just forever spinning in this rock.
exactly,
Like, never
and they're
lost
like,
inertia.
yeah, and it's like you can touch the ball and you get powers, and it's like, but then right now I don't know if there's going to be more of that, but right now it is feeling very shonen anime in that there is a tournament arc, and you're this kid who's trying to get this team together to basically be in the school's dodgeball tournament. So it has elements of being like kind of like a shonen anime, but then also the RPG element of it with a really fun dodgeball mechanics. I think they really do a really good job with that. And just in general, it is just super super charming. The art style is really cute. It's very cartoony, but it works extremely well, and it looks really great. There's elements of Pokemon in there because like you have those the battles where they see you and they're like, we have to fight, and then it kind of plays Pokemon-esque music.
It has a real Pokemon look from the
Yeah,
the way the overworld looks too.
yeah,
Not art
it's,
style wise, but like perspective.
It looks kind of like a Cartoon Network show.
Yes.
it really does. Like it reminds me of, I don't know if either of you watched any OKKO.
No.
I'm familiar, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's pretty recent, but it's a really good, it's a really really cute, really good show, and it kind of gives me OKKO vibes.
Sure. Yeah, it looks great.
But yeah, it is really really charming, and I.
Oh, we
Oh
lost our
no,
audio.
we've lost Allison's audio.
Beans.
It's-
All right.
it's
Well, in the
beans
meantime, I
for me.
played a little bit of it, and I played just like the very intro of it, and you like the dodgeball stuff they have you doing is pretty active, more active than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And they have you like, you're picking up the ball from the middle and like running around your half of the arena in like kind of a like somewhat isometric, but like from the side still, like it's tilted a little bit so you can see, and you're having to
There we
be
go.
pretty active with
We've regained Allison.
throwing the ball at the enemy. There's pretty generous lock on, and then they're throwing back, and you can like actively try to catch it.
Yeah,
And it's a health bar system
Mhm.
that
yeah, it's a health bar system, and then you also have specific like special moves that you can do because it has there's like you have powers in this one. So one of the characters that you play with has lightning, and that can shock them and make them stop a little bit. Each character really moves differently, and then there are also different dodgeball moves, different dodgeball modes. Like there's one where you're fighting everybody, and if somebody gets knocked out, they moved to the opposite side of the field behind everybody. So
Like a
so
jail
that it, like,
situation.
yeah, but they are able to get the ball from behind the thing and throw it at you.
Oh, okay.
So it makes it harder once you've knocked somebody else out. Yeah, but
Interesting.
it's very there might be more modes that I haven't seen yet because I'm still pretty early on in the game as well, but it is really really I'm just really into it, and it's so cute and charming, and
It just struck me. This is the first Pyre like. In that like.
oh yeah,
I mean, it's not because it's obviously looks incredibly different and probably plays completely different. But it's weird that we haven't seen more of these kind of like Golf Story was a thing, but golf is such a different animal than so many other kinds of sports. It's odd that we hadn't seen like more sports inspired RPGs. And this one looks really cool. The art is really really good.
it looks beautiful in motion too. Like when you're walking around the campus, like the walk animation is great. You can roll around campus for some reason, and that animation is beautiful. Like it's just a gorgeous video game.
Yeah,
it's
really pretty.
It's beautiful. It is, and then even just some of the menus are gorgeous. It is just like aesthetically really beautiful, and it is super super fun to play. So it's just, I don't know. I'm just, again, I'm not, I never thought I would be like, ooh, let's get into this dodgeball video game, but also I
Mhm.
really like this game a lot.
Dodgeball weirdly in vogue this year with like Knockout City, Dodgeball Academia. I wonder
Yeah.
how many more dodgeball games we're gonna get coming out.
The studio is from Sao Paulo,
Mm,
apparently.
Okay,
Pocket
cool.
Trap.
Yeah,
Uh,
and they have they
they made a few
have
games.
yeah, and then they are being published by Humble. So
Humble has a pretty good eye for stuff.
they do. Like they generally tend to publish some pretty great games. So
It's cool because this seems to be the studio's first like larger release. Like I'm looking at their list of games, and it looks like mostly they've done like game jam stuff before.
oh, that's good.
And this seems to be the first one that is, yeah, they've got an App Store game that is no longer in the App Store but came out on PC in 2017, and then their most recent game before this was on PC and console, but it looked like it was kind of more of just like a side-scrolling beat 'em up kind of thing. So this seems to be a big jump forward in like art quality and ambition and stuff, which is cool.
Which is kind of amazing considering how polished it feels.
It
to
looks
play.
like it, yeah. That's why I looked up I was kind of like, is this
Where
actually
did this come
an
from?
indie
Yeah.
game, or did this come out of
Uh-huh.
like Ubisoft or something? Because it
Right,
looks really
'cause
good.
EA Originals.
Yeah,
feels
exactly.
just super polished to
Yeah.
play, and then it like aesthetically and then just even the menus, it's kind of incredible if this is one of the first
It's-
like major games for the studio.
It's wild
Mhm.
that it's not gotten more attention, to be honest. Like it seems seems
Honestly,
weird to me. Like it's only got 77 reviews on Steam, which is surprising to me.
yeah, like I haven't read this article because it's a premium subscription and don't got money for that. But Rock Paper Shotgun has an article that's, I'm convinced Dodgeball Academia is a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think
Well-
that's kind of what it has to be, because
It has a 76% on the Xbox app, which I'm only chuckling because stuff usually is like, it'll be like Game of the Year contender on the Xbox app, and it'll be like 32% because people just like, I don't know why people clown on the Xbox ratings, but they're the Xbox app, I mean, for Windows,
Yeah.
but everything's always rated like garbage. Like Crusader Kings 3 is a 70%. So you heard
Well,
it here.
it's-
Dodgeball Academia is better than Crusader Kings 3.
It's
One
it's
of-
definitely like one of those things where people like, not that many people use the Xbox app on PC.
No,
Like,
yeah.
people use it because Game Pass on PC, but like, people go to complain about games more than anything. They're not gonna like, so if
Totally,
you're
yeah.
gonna get way more people going, oh, this game sucks.
But like to give you some
Or-
context, Sea of Thieves has a 76%, one of the like
Mhm.
pretty most celebrated Xbox exclusives in years.
Yeah.
Minecraft Dungeons has a 72. Windows, the Microsoft Solitaire Collection, as you would expect, has a 96% like. But I mean,
Of
come on.
course, how are you going to improve?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's near
It's the perfect game. That's your. They should just set that. They should grade everything else on a curve against Microsoft Solitaire Collection. But yeah, I'm installing this Dodgeball. It's already done installing Dodgeball Academia because it looks great and it looks like it's on PC and console Game Pass. So
yeah, it's one of those things where if you have Game Pass, I'd say it's an absolute no-brainer.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
even then, as somebody who doesn't do Game Pass and I paid the money for it, I am not mad about that at all.
Yeah, it's only
You know,
$25. So
Yeah, it feels very worth it. So I would just definitely recommend it if you, I don't know, like good video games.
My girlfriend showed me a video last week of, what was it? It was like this LA-based like bodyguard like company. They do like, bodyguard services for famous people, rich people, whatever. And this Japanese TV show flew them to Japan and had them protect someone from a group of elementary schoolers in a game of dodgeball. And so it was like 5 dudes, and they all had to guard like the school principal and prevent him from getting hit for like 5 minutes. But if they got hit, they were out. Much like a real bullet hit them, then they're like, okay, you're done. They could not hang with this group of elementary school students, partially because they could not understand like Japanese dodgeball rules, which are slightly different than American dodgeball. And yeah, it's a good time. Would recommend. Japanese TV, so good sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is nice and good? Some stories in the garden.
I was gonna say
Oh.
gardens are nice and good.
Yeah.
Stories, gardens, together, absolutely terrible. Garbage.
Oh.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Jeez.
Tell me a story of the garden.
Tell me the story.
So
of the
we're going
garden
to talk a little bit
story.
more of we're going to talk more about the Nintendo Indie World stream later in the news section. But one of the shadow dropped games was Garden Story, which is a game I've been actually looking forward to for quite a while.
Mhm.
I played the demo on Steam quite a bit ago and fell in love with it. It is just a super, super cute game where and it's here and I'm playing it now and I'm very excited about that. So it's a pretty chill sort of RPG where you're playing as a grape named Concord, and you're playing in this world of living fruits and vegetables, although there's also a frog. So there's just basically like what would be in the garden, and you have to protect the garden from the oncoming rot, which is the kind of villain of the game. So it's basically, I think I haven't gotten yet more into. I think that there'd be some sort of more kind of farming type of elements or more like city building elements. But right now it's a lot of doing quests and things to protect your home and with fighting. But it's just really just super, super charming and something that I've been really excited to play with that. So I think that there's a lot more elements that will show up in the game, because right now it's mostly been pretty basic combat and kind of gathering stuff and wandering around your town going like trying to help people. But also it's I think there's a lot of elements that are still gonna show up, but it's just super cute and super nice and cozy, and I've just been really excited for this game for quite some time, so I'm really happy it's out here already.
Nice. It's been one where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'd be into it. Like Golf Story was good, and so I'm like, is it like Golf Story? Because it's something
really
story.
not.
It's G-word story.
Yeah.
Or is it like a Harvest Moon?
Don't
or
say
is it
the
like
G-word.
like what?
It's kind of like 2D Zelda like in a weird way, where it's like
Okay.
you're top down and you're fighting enemies with you're fighting enemies like that. So it's kind of like that mixed with some of the other kind of Stardew type things, I think, from
That's
later.
kind of what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of more, but yeah, it has that Zelda like
Okay.
that vibe to it.
Mhm.
But I think there's a lot more elements. I'm not super far just because work's been weird, but it's that's closer to what it would be. It's just like a super super cute Zelda like.
Yeah, it
Set
looks
with,
really good.
like fruits and vegetables and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds right up your alley.
It looks-
in a great way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Glad
looks
to
Yeah.
know.
legit really good too.
Yeah, it's just I remember I played the demo and it was just like super charming, and when the demo came out it was already super polished, and you could really see where the game was going. So I'm really excited to put more time into it and just kind of dig more into it. it has kind of a slow start, but I don't think that's necessarily a
It-
bad thing. It kind of just kind of fits with the vibe of it all.
Yeah, and it I'm not usually like oftentimes when people get really excited about like very cute games, I'm usually like sort of doing the like Robert Redford nod from further away. Like I'm very happy that
Yeah.
exists for you. But Garden Story has always had this like the pastel colors that it has are like very appealing to me. They're not always present, but like in some of the places the lighting's a little more warm. But like
Oh yeah.
some
Well,
of the
there's like
greens and stuff are so good.
there's a day and night cycle, and
It's probably nighttime then. That I'm
yeah.
thinking of.
So near the end of the day, it gets kind of a lot warmer,
Mhm.
and that adds an interesting element of to the game. I'm wondering to see if there's going to be more of that, because basically since the enemy is the rot, it's in kind of similar fashion. It's a little bit, it's more prevalent at night with kind of cooler weather, and I don't know, like there's very
Yeah.
specifically like, so like you'll start your day in the morning and it's pretty like there's definitely enemies about, but it's not overwhelming. But then you can easily get to the point where it's not necessarily overwhelming at night, but at the same time it's a lot more enemies, and then you are at risk for dying, which is, there's not very much risk in the death as well. Basically you lose some of your money and the day automatically ends. So if you're going for some of the kind of daily tasks or some of the things that villagers were asking you to help them with, it'll just automatically say, no, you can't do that because you're dead. But to next day. But it is but it's also, those are pretty not difficult death conditions basically. So it's pretty chill. I just got to my first boss battle and I immediately died, but I was just like, okay, that's not I'm fine with that.
There's a cool looking boss in the Steam page screenshots.
Yeah, no, the art is, I think, really beautiful.
It reminds me, my favorite, it's not my favorite mechanically, although I like it more than most people, but my favorite looking Zelda game is actually the Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages duology.
That is that is a good looking game.
And this reminds me of that a little bit in terms of like the sort of advanced were those were Game Boy Color games, I think.
Yeah.
Then this is a little higher fidelity than that, but it's got that kind of like latter day 2D Zelda look to it that I like a lot, with the vibrant colors and a lot of frames of animation and stuff.
Yeah, it looks really neat. I'm not like, I don't know if there's space in my life for it, just there's so many games.
No, totally. And it's like I sat down Dodgeball Academia, and then also I'm also playing my gachas every day, and then I'm also playing Pokemon Unite, and then it's like there's so many other games that are coming out that I'm like, oh my god, there's no time for video games.
Yep.
But but this was definitely one that I was really looking forward to, so I was really happy that it just came out. Give that a shot.
I might end up playing it on Switch later this year when all the stuff that I had been excited to play later this year doesn't come out later this year.
I'm sure there's still going to be plenty of great stuff coming out.
Well,
but yes. It'll be nice to have stuff like Garden Story when things like Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West probably don't come out this year. We're still waiting on confirmation of that. But
and I mean, it's kind of been the story this week too. Is it's just been the last couple weeks. It's just been thing after thing that's really cool, smaller. I've looked at the Steam page of I think 10 different games over the last week and gone, wow, that I had no idea that was coming. That looks awesome, and then added it to wish list to maybe play someday.
Wait for a Steam sale, and then you're already buying like 50 other
it's
things.
not even that I don't want to pay full price for them. It's just a time thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched again, we'll talk more about it, but the Indie World stream where I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, I want to play all of these video games, but who has
Got,
the
like,
time in
Boyfriend
this
Dungeon came out
economy?
this week.
I bought that too.
Yeah, it's also on Game Pass. So I mean, like, there's just that's like 3 really cool indie games that have come out in the past couple weeks, and there's more than that too.
Right, and it's like those are just like 3 really cool indie games that I'm like particularly kind of interested in too.
That Eastward game comes out in a month.
I know
That game looks incredible.
No, that game looks so good. They showed that trailer in the indie stream, and I was like, oh, that game looks fucking good.
Yeah, I had seen it before then, and it looks really good.
Yeah, it looked great, but then I watched that trailer, and I was like, oh my god, I am so excited for this video game. And then it comes out next month.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there so many video games? That is the question for this podcast.
Stop making video games.
Stop making video games. We can't play them all.
It's over. We're done. No more.
The Ukrainian prisoner heist came out in Payday 2.
Oh my god! Don't do it, Pat. You don't.
I'm just joking. I'm not gonna play Payday 2.
You know what? You could tell me next week that you and your friends.
I was doing a
really
Discovery. No, I specifically.
Ukrainian prison heist.
I specifically do not like Payday 2. I have been down this road before. I don't like that game.
All right, that's fair.
So fear not.
But maybe the Ukrainian prison heist will bring it back on board. You never know.
Nope. Guaranteed. Nope. I'm not buying that.
All right. Well, that's Garden Story. Pat, what have you brought this week?
Well, we both played one of the things, so I'll talk about the other thing first because, and I've also been playing I'm still playing something. I've played, like a lot of Splitgate this week, a little bit of Hell Let Loose. I played a bunch of iRacing this week. They put the Mount Washington Hill Climb in New Hampshire into iRacing,
where it's like 45-degree hill and more. And
sometimes it's a mix of basically just a mix of road and dirt going up a mountain, and some of it is very high grade, and some of it is less so. But it's a lot of turning back and forth. The only
not what I'm thinking of though.
The only thing
like,
that's separate,
just going.
No, you're thinking of
straight, basically drag racing, but up a hill.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's also called hill climb, I want to say, but it's a different kind of hill climb. Yeah. This is the only thing that separates this sort of style of hill climb from rally racing is that it's a defined course that's always there. Rally racing is generally like they come up with the course that weekend. Yeah. They'll like find a series of trails and roads that fit together nicely, and then that's the rally course. And part of the thing with rally racing is like you don't get to know the whole course ahead of time, and you have your co-pilot has to examine the course map and then read it to you as you're driving. So that's what makes rally racing. Whereas hill climbs, the roads are always there, but it's also terrifying because like there's parts where it's just a sheer drop on the right hand side. If you just look up Travis Pastrana's world record run, that's at the Mount Washington Hill Climb. It's a crazy video. It will blow your mind. Anyway, that is fun, but you can do things like push like the little baby cars from the top of the mountain, like give them a little bit of gas and then just ride them down like a soapbox derby, which is very fun. But the thing that I brought that is not the thing Andre and I both talked about, because I looked this game up. I thought I had brought it when I played it. But I went back through our episode archive and I could not find any episodes where I talked about it, which is a travesty because it's definitely my favorite board game of the year, and potentially.
What is? I've not heard of this.
Yeah, it has potential to become one of, if not my favorite board game, maybe ever. And it's a game called Oath, which finally released to retail this past week. It had been a Kickstarter, but not the classic video game, board game style Kickstarter where it's a big box with 400 miniatures in it. This game is not that kind of game at all. Have either of you played or heard of Root before?
Heard of it, never played it.
Okay, so Root is a board game by, I have to pull up their names because I don't want to say them wrong. But it is it was also kickstarted. There's a really good digital version of it that I definitely recommend if you have any interest. The art in Root is deeply incredible. It's the design was by Cole Whirler. I can never pronounce his name correctly. And then Kyle Farron did the art. And Root is a game of asymmetrical forest warfare, where you're taking on different factions of woodland creatures. So there's like a cat faction and a fox faction and a mice faction and a bird faction. The art is really good, like I said, and super asymmetric. It's kind of like it really is like a strategic meeples on a map war game where you're moving between different sites and fighting over them. Really, really brilliant game. And the most Oath is the same team of designer and artist, and it has a few similarities to Root, but it really is kind of its own thing in a really spectacular way. The basic premise is that you have one player who is the chancellor, or like the king or whatever of the kingdom, and then you have up to 5 other players. I think 4 or 5 other players who are all playing exiles, so people who have been like exiled from the kingdom. And it is the art style is like very cool. It's like kind of dark fantasy, but with a really, really pleasant, warm, cute isn't even the word I would use to describe it, but I think some people might, aesthetic that is just deeply beautiful. I mean, the art in this game is incredible. And it gives it all a tone of like being very like mysterious, but also warm and colorful and bright, but still kind of having a sort of muted sadness to some of the way the world is conveyed. And the goal of the game for the Chancellor at the first time you play it anyway is to hold on to as much territory as possible. And territory is laid out as these big cards that go on the mat in different spots, and that gives you unique locations each time you play that you're trying to hold on to. And then all the exiles are trying to either take control of more territory than the Chancellor to become the new Chancellor, the usurper, or by going through this deck of cards that's kind of at the core of the mechanics of the game, you can get a victory condition that is unique to you. That might be like holding the most relics, or winning a certain number of, I can't remember what all of them are off the top of my head, but there's several different victory conditions. And then that can cause you to win by holding that victory condition and fulfilling it. Or the Chancellor can grant you citizenship, and that means that they count your armies as theirs. So it helps them retain control of the map, but then you get your own unique citizen victory condition that you can fulfill when the Chancellor would win. If you're fulfilling your victory condition, you win instead. So basic stuff there. It gets fairly complex because there's this deck of cards that has like everything from suit of armor to longbowmen that you can add to your retinue, to single-use cards, to like different buildings that can pop up at sites. And on the deck of cards, there's a lot of different actions you can do and modifiers that change the way the game plays. So there's a degree of like tableau building, where you're kind of building out your set of cool things you can do in front of you. And then there's a lot of political maneuvering between players, because you might need to say, like, you might have a vision to get the most relics, so you're trying to convince people around the board not to take the relics from places and leave them for you to go get them, but you don't want to lean into it too hard because you don't want them to know that you are trying to win by holding the most relics, kind of thing. and I can't remember actually. You might have to play it in front of you. But either way, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on as well. But what really makes this game special, I think, is at any given time you have this deck of cards that I mentioned, and there's like 40 or so cards, 45 cards in it. However, there's a pool of around 200 cards sitting in the box. And whenever the game ends, whoever wins the game gets to pick from a small deck of tiles that will determine what the Chancellor's objective the next game will be in order to win the game the next time you play. And it's recommended that whoever won the last game plays as the Chancellor the next time at the start. And you don't have to play with the same group. It's not a legacy game in the sense where everybody needs to be consistently playing together, but it gives that gives the winner the ability to kind of like dictate how the game is going to be, the starting objective anyway, the next game. And then also based on the suits of the cards, all these cards are like, it's kind of like Magic colors. There's like Arcane, Nomad, Beast, Order, Hearth, Discord, different suits of cards. The suit, based on the suits of cards that they use the most in the game, you add new cards to the deck from the box, from the larger collection of cards, and then you remove a few cards randomly as well. So what that means is from game to game, the cards that can pop up change and evolve. And it also means that as you play the game, let's say somebody wins with a lot of arcane cards, then it means that there's going to be more arcane cards added to the deck over time. And then that tends to snowball because there's more arcane cards in the deck, which means people are more likely to use arcane cards. And so you get this like situation where like as you play, your world is becoming more magical because people are using more and more arcane cards. And so you develop this kind of like history of your copy of Oath where, because we've all been using Magic, now all of a sudden there's Magic, and it leads to situations where people are, maybe if you're playing with the same group a lot, people say like, look, I really want to see more Beast cards added to the deck, so I'm going to focus on getting Beast cards and try to win the game with them. And it gives the game this sort of meta, and that is more than just trying to win. It's also like trying to influence how games will be played in the future. And there's other things that carry over from game to game, but that's kind of the biggest one. And it's just really, really cool. And it's easy to reset it at any time that you want to. You can always take it back to the base, like starting collection of cards. There's no card destruction or writing on anything like there is in other legacy games. And it's just really, really cool. I'm desperate to play a bunch of it, but I'm having trouble convincing people to join me. But
Sure.
yeah.
It sounds very cool and like a game I would like to try at least. But
Well-
also like just sitting here listening to everything wash over is like
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
What I'd say to people who are they do a good job because it is complex. I would rate it, I think on Board Game Geek it was like a 4 out of 5 for complexity. But what's nice about it is they have a sort of a player guide walkthrough for your first turn of your first game, where they set it up in a sort of starting state, and they give each player a little script to read to go through their first turn, so you get a good, and since it's spread out over 4 players or 5 players, you get a good overview of what turns will look like for each person. And then from there, the basic actions, like a lot of these games, the basic actions aren't that complicated. It's when you start adding in all the cards, there's a lot of like, okay, I'm going to fight you. And then the person's like, okay, 2 of your troops die before combat. And you're like, whoa, wait, why? And then you realize it's because they have this card and this piece of equipment that each kill 1 troop or whatever. So that can be a little daunting. But what I would say is anyone who is interested, there is a very good official scripted tabletop sim mod for this. That one of the cool things about it is it's because of the nature of it being not the kind of legacy game I don't like, where there's a million sealed envelopes and things you tear up. You can very easily play the game on Tabletop Simulator and then transfer that to your physical copy, the like kind of state at the end, and back, because it has a like way to save the world state in the Tabletop Sim mod as well. So you can kind of play it digitally and in person and maintain the same state of the world that way. So yeah, we should play it sometime, because it is really good.
I will pick up Tabletop Sim to try playing this, or
Yeah.
you know, like other tabletop. I always forget about Tabletop
Yeah.
Sim.
Yeah, I think it's worth picking up for people, because there's a build. I mean, almost any game you want is on there, and now a lot of developers. It used to feel like piracy, and I felt gross about it. But a lot of developers have gotten in on it and realized that, like, yeah, it's a free thing, but like, I played Oath on Tabletop Sim once and was like, okay, I have to own this game, and it's expensive. It's $120 game. It's not a
board
With
games.
a lot of those games, they're such expensive propositions. So having a way to test it out is it seems like a good,
and
kind of a good option.
To part of the reason that Oath is so expensive is because the production value is like out of this world, incredible. I mean, like I said, the art is spectacular. The cards are all really nice. Each card has unique art, and the each person, you get like a bunch of unique screen printed wooden miniatures for your. I don't even want to call them meeples, because they look like they're really pretty.
Call them meepos.
It doesn't feel like you're getting ripped off when you buy the game, but it is nice to be able to play it on TTS. It does take, I'll say, the first time you play it, it's probably going to take a few hours, because, like I said, it is a little weighty. But once people learn how to play it, you can play it and you can knock a game out in an hour and a half. It's not a Twilight Imperium where even after you've learned to play it, it's still a 6-hour commitment. Much snappier. So yeah.
Well, let's try and set up a time to
definitely.
do
I almost
Top Sim session.
We have a D&D game, and I almost was going to try to convince people to play during that time slot, but then I was like, a first game with that many people would take way longer than Sam has available, so I'm not gonna push it. But I will float in that group to see if anybody's interested.
And during the summer, I can do any time, basically. So
that's cool. Yeah.
You know, I've got another 3 weeks where I can make it happen.
We'll make it happen either this week or next then, because I feel I don't. Some of my friends listen to this podcast, so this is not a dig on anybody listening, but when I picked it up from the store and I was like, oh my God, I got the email that it had come in, and I dropped everything. It was Sunday at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. It was after dinner. I dropped everything. My one friend was like, hey, do you want to play some other board game with us? And I was like, no, I have to go pick up Oath. And my partner was like, oh, you're going out? And I was like, yes, I have to go to the game store.
I have to do this.
This is a necessity.
Which is 15 minutes away, so it's not that big of a time commitment to go pick it up. But
also it's Sunday night. Are you going to play this right now?
No, but I needed it
right now.
I needed it right then. It does have a solitaire. It does have a solitaire mode, and you can play. It basically just adds an automated player, and you can add them to 2-player games to make it a little more fleshed out too. Because it is kind of, ideally you'll want 3 to 5 players for this game for sure. But yeah, we'll set it up soon to play, because I am desperate to play it. And my friend, anyway, when I got back, I was talking to my board game friends, oh my God, I have Oath finally. And one of them was really into it and wants to play soon, but everybody else was just kind of oh, interesting. And I was like, wait, but who's free in this week? And then nobody was free or said anything. And I was like, oh, well, I want to play it soon. So.
Well, I will be free for you.
Cool. I'm sure I can find between our group and a couple other friends at least another player or two. First game you want to have 4 or 5, but
yeah, I was seeing on Board Game Geek or whatever it was saying, community says best with 4 people, but
I think 4 is probably a good sweet spot. 5 is good. 6, I think it goes up to 6, and 6 would be a lot. But not so much that you couldn't enjoy it if you had 6 people and everyone wanted to play. My group is large enough that we run into it sometimes where it's okay, well, we have 7, 8 people today. We got to find something that'll accommodate that many people. So
Yeah. Well, if you need to accommodate that many people, there is a game you could try that accommodates up to 60 people.
Oh, ooh, I love it.
It's called Naraka Blade Point.
Yeah, it's one I've been kind of waiting on for a little bit here. It's not called Narake, which is how I spelled it in
You're
our
playing
sheet.
a fancy,
Na-
exclusive game.
This is
Naraka.
Battle Royale
Uh-huh.
out of China, right?
Yep.
I assume.
24
Yeah,
Entertainment is a developer. They're pretty small, from what I gather. This is their first game.
Yeah. I mentioned, I think last week when it was just us, I mentioned Hunter Arena Legends, which is the PS5, like PlayStation Plus game this month. And boy, maybe it's PS4 too. Maybe, I don't even know. That game is, they're similar in many ways, but Naraka Blade Point is a vastly superior game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vastly superior.
The thing with Hunter's Arena is there's like a level up mechanic that is a little
Yeah.
It's
like there's
cool,
an RPG in your battle royale.
It's a cool idea, but
Right.
it's too much. Because it's
and
really
it just feels bad to play.
it plays like an MMO. And
Kinda, yeah.
and then like you go back, there's like a town you can go to and buy stuff in that game, and like
Yeah.
it had some cool ideas, but it doesn't play very well. And Naraka Blade Point plays a lot better, and it's a lot simpler, which I think works in
Yes.
its favor. Yeah, so it's a 60-player battle royale, mix of melee and ranged weapons. I would say they're both equally
Yeah.
important.
I personally, I have found very little luck with the ranged weapons. Mostly, like I've done a few things where I found like a legendary bow. There's loot tiers,
Yep,
you
yep.
know. So I found like a legendary bow like right off the bat, and then I used that to kill a few people, and like. But that is like the only ranged weapon kills
say
I've done in my 20 games or whatever.
I am a pro at finding people who are already fighting and then picking them off with a ranged weapon.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So,
but, for the most part, I haven't messed with the ranged weapons. 'Cause
but,
they always feel like I'm not in love with the aim, and
Sure.
like it's they're, like,
it depends on the weapon.
bows and yeah,
too.
bows and like there's like cannons.
There's a
and,
musket
like,
that feels pretty
there's
good.
a rocket. There's like a missile launcher that just like fires like a volley of
I haven't
missiles.
used
It's
that, but yeah,
real-
the swarm
it's
launcher.
real wild.
Yeah, and then there's of course lots and lots of melee weapons that all play pretty differently.
Yes.
They're
It's kind of like a action RPG kind of, or like not as good mechanics wise, but you know, like a Devil May Cry or something like that, where you've got multiple like you're jumping in the air, stylish action.
Yes, and that's the thing I think that made me really appreciate it is that the movement feels real cool. It's sometimes it gets like a tiny bit clunky with like you run into stuff you think you should be jumping over, or you have a grappling hook, which is one of the big hooks, no pun intended, in this game. And sometimes you
can
try
hook
to
anything,
any object and
people.
players.
Yeah, but you can't hook to like some like bamboo trees or stuff, but you can hook to like regular trees, you can hook to rocks, you can
buildings,
you can Assassin's Creed your way up things.
the ground. Yeah.
It's a Just Cause style grappling
So-
hook, except you can't latch things together.
Right. And
Pretty rad though.
and you can climb anything, like you're saying, in an Assassin's Creed sort of style. Has pretty good vaulting over low walls and stuff. And occasionally the movement makes me get hung up on something and I get a little annoyed, but it's pretty rare, and rare especially considering that this is also like an action RPG feeling battle royale, which
with 60 people running around.
Yes.
Like, you know, big island thing.
yeah,
and-
with pretty diverse environments too, which is kind of cool. There's like where the video I pulled up now, they're in like the swamp area I haven't even seen. It looks really cool. And the weapons are neat because they all feel very unique, each kind of weapon. There's like melee and range combined, there's like 15 weapon types or something like that. And each of them has, when I first started it, I was just using the longsword and I was like, oh, this combat's very simple. but
Mhm.
that's just because the longsword is kind of the most simple weapon.
Yeah.
I would liken the move sets of the weapons to something like a Monster Hunter. Not so much that it feels like Monster Hunter, but that each weapon is kind of its own unique thing, and you kind of have to learn the mechanics of each weapon.
Yeah. Because like there's speed differences between all of
And
them, and reach differences,
and things like when you use daggers, your dodge gets boosted, so
Mhm.
you want to dodge more in combat when you have daggers, and it's not just a
Yep.
numbers thing. It also is a feel thing as well. The
Yeah.
great sword is very slow to attack, and it has a horizontal
but
and
it
vertical attack.
messes people
Yeah,
up
it feels
when you hit
good.
them. Yeah.
And then like the katana, for example, I don't even know how to use it, but it's got like crazy counter mechanics that whenever I encounter people with a katana, I attack them and then I'm just dead. And it's got like a spear that's easy to stun lock
Yeah.
people with, but it only attacks in a straight line. Like lots of different weapon types. They're very interesting. And over the course of the match, like you said, you're picking up different rarity tiers of loot, including armor, which gives you a kind of a health boost. Some stuff, it doesn't defend
So-
all of the damage, but
yeah, no, there's
uh,
there's like poison stuff, and like there's armor
Yeah.
piercing like things you can pick up.
mhm.
Like you get, so there are like buffs you can pick up that are like, oh, I've got extra health, I've got more damage, or like they'll buff like the ability of your attack, like, oh, if I attack with a katana, or if I attack with a great sword, it'll send out shock waves on my second attack with the
And
combo.
those are
stuff like
called
that.
soul jades, and they're one of my favorite things about this game, and they're one of the reasons why I want to play a lot more of it. Is the soul jades are loot that you find around, but you have to make a lot of choices because you fill up your inventory of them pretty quick, so you have to think about how you want to build your character. And they're, like you're saying, they're generally stat boosts. So there's like, on a simple level, there's like health boosts, attack boosts, ranged resists, melee resists in the soul jades. And then there's, at higher tiers, there's the more unique ones. There's one that I found that was awesome, that you could do the rest emote and it would heal you.
What?
And
Wow.
so you could just clear your inventory of the healing berries because you just you needed to do was do the rest emote and get healed. And so it gave you a bunch of free inventory slots, basically. But by doing that, I was not taking an extra attack Soul Jade 2 or whatever, which would have boosted my damage. So you have to make a lot of choices as to how you build your character over the course of a match, which feels good. And the games don't take very long. They're like 20 minutes maybe, so it's pretty snappy.
Also, what we've kind of skipped over is, so there's all the weapons, like there's the ranged and the melee, there's all these soul jades, and then also there are like 7 different characters in the game right now. Of course they're going to add more. This is a service game. There's a battle pass, cosmetics, all that, some really wild cosmetics.
The cosmetics, I was going to get there.
Funny.
We'll get back to the character in a second.
But
this game may have my favorite cosmetics in any game that I've played outside of, I guess, Fortnite, because Fortnite just is buck wild with the amount of shit that it has. But
there's something about like the way like everything's played pretty straight here. Like Fortnite's very cartoony, and this is like,
yes, there is the carrot on the head. Have you seen that?
No. So I mean, like Fortnite as like an aesthetic is very cartoony, and so like, oh, whatever kind of fits in here, and it's like goofy and whatever. But this game is played very straight on the surface.
Yeah,
it presents as like, oh, this is realistic looking, and these are people, and like they're not cartoony. And then you go into the cosmetics, and there's like, we put a fish on this lady's head.
Yes, it's very funny. And I also would say that I think like the character designs are pretty kind of basic, but also they look fantastic in my opinion. Like this game is not visually like the best game ever or anything, but when you're looking at the characters in the menus and going through the cosmetics, it's gorgeous. And I really like the design of a lot of the cosmetics. And it has like the booby ladies with the booby costumes.
I mean, most the ladies aren't too bad with the boobies, but there's
one character that is,
I think, Yotohime,
a vehicle for boobies.
She literally, like, half of her quips when you pick her are like, "My eyes are up here," or "Yeah, they're real."
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my
There
god.
is some of that for sure.
And there's jiggle
Um,
physics, and it's like, it's subtle, but it's like,
It's not all the way
wow.
to a Dead or Alive kind of thing, but it's definitely
no, it's not like Chun-Li in Street Fighter 5 when they fucked that up, and
Yeah,
she was
no.
just like, whoa.
I wouldn't call it offensive, anything that I've seen, but
No,
but do
it's
know
just
going in that there is a little
Okay, I
Yeah.
looked
booby
her up,
waifus.
and
Yeah.
it's the design's not terrible, but like I was just like, I don't know what this is about, and then you just see like,
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, I
like-
feel like
I will
Her
say
Arena Legends was worse in this regard.
Yes.
From what I saw of the cosmetics.
I will also say Yotohime's alternative costume that you can buy right now,
pretty
I
cool.
may end up buying because it fucking rips. It's very cool.
Yeah.
She has like devil
She's-
horns and
I do say like they
Okay,
did her
that's
dirty
rad.
with all this like booby stuff, but also she's my favorite character to play as.
It looks
I
like
like
a
I like her
really
abilities the
cool
most.
character is
Yeah.
the thing.
It's-
She's like a demon lady, and she's got her like, so the characters, they all have special moves and
Yes.
ultimates, and
Mhm.
everyone's different. And so like her special is she throws out like a spinning like staff in it, or like a scythe thing, and it
It
spins
sucks.
around.
Sucks when it hits
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah, no, it sucks when it hits you. Yeah, it's pretty cool
It's
to use
good.
though. And so, like, you can like, if you can get someone into a corner or locked up against something, then they're like, ah.
That happened to me
And
yesterday.
then, yeah, and then her ult, she like gets like a big like like a big stave thing, and a glaive. I don't know what's the big like pole arm, basically a big pole arm that's like spectral, and she can swing it around. It's really long, gives you a huge range of attack.
Yeah. And the character abilities, that's one of the things that the weapon balance is kind of whatever, because everybody has access to the same weapons over the course of a
Mhm.
match potentially. So they'll figure it out. I think there's a little bit of work to be done there, but they seem
Mhm.
like they're pretty active in thinking about that.
Yeah.
There's certainly some of the character stuff feels like it could be better balanced.
Sure.
Because sometimes like there's Matari, which I was playing a bunch of, and she has like a teleport, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh cool, a teleport. And then I used the teleport, and then immediately got grappled by someone right after I teleported, and was like,
As you
"Oh,
do.
well,
Is-
okay,
is she
I guess."
the one? She's the one who has like the umbrella, and
No,
her ult's the
mm-mm.
healing ult. Oh, okay.
Uh,
She's the one who does like the firecracker teleport.
Yes,
Like jumps forward, it's like.
I think
And
so.
yeah,
Um,
I never figured out what to do with that. move.
her ult
Um,
is like she goes stealth, which is
Right. Yeah. Okay. yeah.
sounds really cool, but the few times that I used it to try to escape combat, someone was just like, "I know where you are." Like there was no,
Mhm.
you're not invisible enough. There's still like an outline of you, and I think you
Yeah,
can still be
yeah.
targeted by the grappling hook while you're
Mhm,
stealthed,
mhm.
which
Yeah,
is
maybe.
stupid because it auto aims the grappling
Yeah.
hook. So
Yeah.
there's
Like
little
Smurf
things
just
like that.
Titanfall.
there's little things like that I think they need to work out, but it's
Yeah.
not frustrating enough to make me not want to play the game at all.
Mhm.
And
It definitely seems like some of the stuff is like balanced with like groups in mind.
for
And
sure,
instead of versus solo play. I've mostly played solo, which is why I like Yotohime, because she's good for solo stuff.
but there is a solo queue. You can play
Yes,
trios
yeah.
or solo, so
Yeah.
you don't have
You're
to
not
play it with
one
other
person
people.
going up against three people. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it defaults to trios.
Yeah.
Um,
Which it defaults
And-
every time you launch the game, and sometimes I hit queue, and I didn't realize that I was queued for trios. So I
Ah,
have played a few
yeah.
trios games, and they've
Oh.
been fun. So
yeah. And then they've got like a respawn mechanic in there for trios play. And then there's like there's a bloodbath mode, which is it's basically just deathmatch. You're just thrown into arena you're thrown into an area of the map
yeah, but
with
it's
a bunch
closed
of
off.
other players. I don't know how many players it is, and then probably like maybe 15, 20. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
And then you're just fighting to the death, and every character has a different loadout that they load in with. Like, so if the two people pick the same character, they'll load in with the same loadout.
well,
But like
you can pick
some people, yeah.
in Bloodbath. If you open your inventory, you have every weapon. So you
Do
can,
you?
Yes, so you
Oh.
can pick your loadout when you spawn.
Okay, because you spawn defaulted with a different loadout depending on which character you pick.
Yes, yeah,
And that made me wonder, like, because in the loading screen, or like the loading area where you're waiting, like you can kind of fight around, and it looks like some characters have like slower attack, like by default, like they're melee. And it made
yeah.
me wonder. It made me wonder, like, or slower, or faster. It made me wonder, like, are different characters better suited to certain weapons, or like do they have like are there differences in the weapons
Hmm.
for each character?
I don't know. It's possible.
But
They
yeah.
also have things like each character starts. You have your
Mhm.
two different abilities, but then you as you play them pretty quickly after you start playing them, you unlock
Yeah.
alternate modifiers for their abilities.
Yes.
So like Machari, who has her teleport, she starts off and you can hold down the teleport button to teleport further, or
Mhm.
you can swap
Oh.
that for a teleport where you get 2 charges of it. So you can't
Mhm.
charge it to go further anymore, but you can teleport twice,
Mhm.
shorter distance. And it's like the total distance you can teleport is shorter than the full charge
Mhm.
of the charge up one,
Mhm. Mhm.
but you can change direction basically in the middle.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that she has where you can teleport and then blink back to the place that you teleported
Mhm.
from,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And then there's also a system that's sort of like the glyph system in that used to be in League of Legends, where
Yep.
you have this like board of a bunch of different spots that you can place passive boosts in. But it's pretty generous. They give you you don't have to buy or
Yeah. It's
grind out
just
the
like as you
glyphs.
level up, you unlock more
You
like different things you can put in.
you do upgrade them,
Mm.
but
Okay.
it just costs the free currency to upgrade them, and
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
not that bad. I upgraded 2 of them to max level
Mhm.
without even burning through all the currency I had gained from playing for 4 or 5 hours. So it's
Mhm.
not like it's an enormous grind to
Yeah.
max them out. But yeah, I think one of the things I've seen people complaining about, I don't agree with it at all. But this game's $20 to buy
Mhm.
it, and it does have a battle pass and a bunch of cosmetics you can buy.
I bought the battle pass. I
And
don't know why,
I
but I
will
did
be
it.
too. They will be selling characters also, additional characters.
That's I don't know how I feel about selling the
I don't know.
characters,
It's
but
$20. Like,
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a $20 game. So to
Just
me,
I
it's
feel
like
like characters like should be free. Like if you have to unlock them, like that's kind of
you
bothers
can
me about
unlock them
Apex
with the
too.
free
But
currency too
if
if you
if you can
want.
unlock them with the free currency, then that's
Yeah,
kind of whatever.
you
But
can. Yeah,
depends on how much it is and stuff like that. Like how, the
yeah. I
pricing on the
mean,
characters.
I
But
think you could level the same thing at League of Legends and Pokemon Unite and uh
sure,
and
they
every
did make like it seems like they made the league stuff more trivial. Like you can unlock stuff pretty quick now with like all the quests and stuff they
uh
give you. But
that's only because I don't know. I don't know that I would say that it's
I haven't.
trivial.
You unlock stuff at a much quicker pace than you used to.
There's also
It's not trivial,
130
but
characters.
yes, but
So,
you unlock stuff much faster than you used to because they give you a lot more resources that let you do that.
yeah.
Whereas before it was only the currency. So if they do something that lets
I
give
think
you more ways to get characters,
point
then
is
that's good.
they've been
But
pretty transparent at 24
yeah,
with this game and said like, hey, if we did free to play, if the game we'd have to abandon the game in a month if it didn't make its money back
mhm,
quickly on cosmetics, because they're a
yeah,
pretty small studio. It's their first game. They just can't afford to not sell the game.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and it might go free to play eventually. Who knows?
Hmm.
But like you have to buy characters in Rainbow Six Siege. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I think they're probably going to be between $5 and $10 at most.
hmm,
And but if it bothers you, if
yeah,
$20, I understand that $20 is a lot of money to plenty of people. So if
yeah.
that's a lot of money to you and you don't like the idea of having to also buy or having the option of buying cosmetics, then fair. I don't think there's anything truly pay to win in this. Like,
It doesn't seem like
you,
it from what
the
I've
only
seen.
thing is I think there are ways to get the in-game currency faster by paying money. Like in the
Mm.
battle pass, I think maybe there's like additional free currency or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there always is and that kind of
There might
stuff.
be boosts that you can get somehow. I'm not sure how. And you do use the free currency to upgrade your glyph things. But I mean, that's like, I don't know. I don't think it's a problem personally. I think the payment model is fine. I've already gotten more than $20 out of it, just the amount that
Mhm.
I've played. So,
Sure.
uh,
The game also is on PC and PlayStation 5.
yeah. Hmm.
So for those interested,
And
I would recommend this over Hunter Arena Legends.
although I think that
100%.
is PS Plus, so you could try
Yeah,
that for
but
free, and if you want something like that but better,
yeah, if you're like, oh, this is a cool idea. If this wasn't terrible, I
yeah.
would play more of
I
it.
will
Then
say, you do play bots for your first couple matches of Naraka Blade
Mhm.
Point, and I have graduated out of the bots, and I'm getting
Mhm.
fucking wrecked.
Yep.
It is rough.
Like you like I think it's partially it's waiting for like the ladder to shake out and more people to get
Yeah.
in. Because like there are some ringers in there, and like it can feel really easy. Like there's always the case of like like, oh, I got crappy weapons, and then this person came in and they found all the good stuff right away and they knocked me out. But then there's just, oh, I just got stun locked like immediately and couldn't get out of it.
I think some of that stuff will get better, both like you're saying
Yeah.
with the way things shake out, and then also I'm in their Discord, and they're pretty communicative. The developers themselves, I don't know that they don't talk a ton in Discord, but I think that's part of that is translation needs, and but their community mods are pretty active and share a lot of stuff from the dev team, and it seems like they're very actively and aggressively updating things and planning things to change and stuff. I was a little nervous about that because they don't do a lot of Steam updates, like the blog update things in Steam, but they are pretty communicative in Discord. And again, I think it's just because it's expensive to get people to translate every blog post into English from Chinese on Steam. I will say too that the localization is fine if you're at all nervous about like, oh, if it's a Chinese game, like, does it work well in English? It does. It doesn't have any issues.
Yeah,
Some of the
fine.
voice lines suck.
There is some awkwardness. I was streaming a bit, and the person watching me was like, "These voice lines."
Yeah, I need to look in. I want to look into if there's a way to change it to the Chinese voice acting, because I would much rather hear Chinese or Japanese. I think some of them actually have Japanese voice lines.
Yeah,
but
I think like Hime probably is Japanese.
but yeah, like I was playing T-Mulk, I think is the one. I can't remember. One of them was like will be like, I need a drink when he spawns in and stuff, and it's like, whoa.
I assume you've seen the massive dragon that sometimes
Nope,
comes
I
down.
haven't, but that does happen. I've heard of it.
Well, so there's like an item you can buy that like calls down like dragon fire, and the dragon just because it looks like kind of the edge of the map looks like dragon scale, so it's like the dragon is like constricting around almost, but it's like still like a force field. I don't know what's going on there, but yes, you can buy an item sometimes from like the little chests that appear around the map, and then you like use it, and it's like an artillery strike basically, and this dragon comes out of the
I have
sky
seen that, but I
like,
haven't noticed the dragon
down.
part.
Yeah, and it's just like, if you just look up, you'll be like,
haven't looked up when that's been happening. I didn't realize that was called in by players. That's kind of cool. There is a thing like in the ranked mode, if you look at the tutorial tip, it's like sometimes in the pre-match a dragon or something can spawn, then you have to kill it as a group, and if you kill it as a group you get a buff for a day or something. Some of that stuff is wild. There's I had a thing yesterday where in the pre-match everybody picked up enough Darumas that it spawned a giant Daruma in the sky.
What
Like Daruma doll.
What?
And I can't remember. I think it gave us a buff for the match or something. Like everybody got coins faster or something.
What? Okay.
It was weird. There's some very strange things in there that I'm excited about because they're fun. And
then Ariana Grande fell out of the sky.
Yeah. And in general, yeah. I mean, like I don't know if I think it's a game that I'm gonna ever try to be a professional at, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's I'm like sort of on like a weird competitive multiplayer game kick, like playing so much Splitgate right now, and like every day, like doing my dailies, Pokemon Unite, and then to get my dailies in there, and then Naraka Blade Point now, get my dailies in there, and like
I'm with
Battle
you.
Pass. What am I doing with my life?
I know. I never thought I would be at this point where I'm playing things with dailies, but here I am.
I'm actually behind on my
through the
Pokemon
Pokemon battle.
dailies, so
I'm halfway through the battle pass in Pokemon Unite.
God, this Mario Party minigame sucks. It's like stacking blocks, and it's terrible.
It's Mario Party. It goes without saying. But yeah, that's it for our game talk this week. That was Naraka Blade Point.
Seems cool.
Next up, yeah, it's really something. And if you're into, if what we were talking about sounds cool, support them. You know, give them $20 if you can, and check out the game because
It'll go on
friends. You know,
it seems like it's doing pretty well, so it'll go on sale too at some point, and it may even go free to play at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested once it goes on sale to possibly pick it up. I don't know if it's something I'd necessarily need to pay for right now.
It's
but
had pretty good
yeah.
player
it's
numbers.
pretty rad.
Like queue times have been super fast, and
I haven't had any issues.
it's got like 8,000 Steam reviews already, so people are playing it.
What's the? Is it? You said it was mostly positive, right?
Yeah, it was in a weird spot where it was down. It was at 69% positive,
Nice.
mixed for a long time, but it was largely people complaining about the fact that there's no Oceanic servers, which is something
Ah.
that they are in the process of fixing. But because of the nature of Steam reviews, those people will never update those reviews, so
No.
it'll just be shit on for not having Oceanic servers forever,
Yeah.
even though they're adding them. And then there were people who, because it is a game made in China, just tell you that it's spyware and that you're, by playing it, you're supporting the Chinese Communist Party. So, you know, just fun stuff in Steam
As you do.
reviews. I can tell you that it has an anti-cheat, but I don't believe that it's like root access at all, and
I mean,
doesn't
it boots up while it doesn't start.
it doesn't start
the
with
game or
it's not
anything.
like
Yeah.
Valorant's anti-cheat. So yeah, I don't believe that it is Chinese spyware any more than going to Google is American spyware.
Yeah. So that's it for our game talk this week, which means it's time for the news. In the news this week, we got a whole bunch. Less bad news.
Oh, this counts as news and is related to Naraka Blade Point. That they had Epic fucked up and delayed the Epic Game Store release of Naraka Blade Point until mid-September, which is a platform they had sold lots of pre-orders on, apparently.
Yeah.
And
Woof.
Well, that's only bad for the Epic. Well, I guess it's. I wonder if like Epic's like we'll give you we'll throw you a bone because you were gonna get more money from us, but then we fucked up and delayed it.
who knows?
Yeah.
I just was like, man, that's bullshit. Anyway,
Yeah. It's
lots
weird.
of people in the Discord were like, how do I refund Epic Games so I can buy it on Steam ASAP?
Well, at least they had a system in place.
Yeah.
We'll try to knock this stuff out quick, and so we can get on to more exciting things. More in the Activision Blizzard saga, as the director, lead designer for Diablo 4 have left the company, or I think they left. They weren't fired. Maybe they were. But this just seems like more covering their bases, getting people out who have been seen as a problem and might be a liability going forward. There's more movement over there. Hopefully, I wonder how long we're going to be seeing this stuff coming out.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of rotten people. There's a lot of people in that Cosby Suite photo. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Yes, a lot of them are not at Activision Blizzard anymore. They are at other companies, or out of games. But yeah, and the Cosby Suite is not the only issue.
No.
No, but it is the most I feel like visceral. Like you hear it.
Visual,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
but
it's
they're
definitely the
definitely-
oh, I see in this one photo that there are several pieces of shit in this hotel room.
But
Right,
there are a lot more
it's-
people who have to be held accountable.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if it won't have any major impact on Diablo 4 or
No.
or
those games,
WoW.
but those games have been made by the teams more than the
Yeah.
managers
Yeah,
forever.
100%.
They're
Right.
not. I mean, I would definitely not. If you're a Diablo fan and WoW fan, I would not be concerned about these departures. I would just
No.
be happy about them
Yeah.
because it's
I don't.
abuse of people
yeah.
being removed from
Yeah,
the
and
studio.
it's not. I doubt it'll be any considerable delay on anything happening.
No, I don't think so at all.
But it's not that matters. If they needed
No,
to
of
delay
course,
it
of
another
course.
2
Yeah,
years
yeah,
because of it,
Of
do it,
course,
but-
if they need to cancel it to protect people,
Sure.
then
Yeah,
people's
100%.
work safety is more important than Diablo 4.
Yeah,
in every
more
context.
just to say, no one person will
No,
make or break these projects.
no.
Yeah. Also, in the news, in terms of departures from companies, Respawn fired the lead designer of Apex Legends for racist and sexist comments that were uncovered by the community. They were part of a DeviantArt blog that the community uncovered from early 2010s, I believe. I can't remember exactly. I looked at some of the stuff, and people can change, but why is this stuff still up on your DeviantArt blog? There is something that should be I gotta go take care of some stuff. But if you can't even think through that, you really gotta think things through with your life. And it seems like a good thing he's gone. Though people are also mad at Respawn for certain things, so it's is there a witch hunt going on? But overall, this guy definitely deserves to be out of there.
Yeah.
And I think that's all our duty news. Stop being duty to people.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, seriously.
there was a crisis in Japan at Nintendo World.
No. So speaking of duty, the duty fallen from the sky is not actual duty. Maybe Goombas look like little pieces of duty. I don't know.
Well, Goombas have to duty somewhere.
Do they?
Yes.
But what do they eat?
I mean, Mario's.
You said
there's
it, not me.
there's a project for DeviantArt. Goombas eating Mario.
Last week we
God.
talked about how construction at Nintendo World had seemed to have commenced on Donkey Kong expansion, but they had to suspend rides at Universal Studios Japan Nintendo World because Goombas were falling from the sky onto the track, not as God intended.
We don't know that.
That's true.
Instead of
Man's
locusts,
hubris knows no-
it's Goombas.
Man's hubris knows no bounds. We put Goombas in the sky and did not let them parachute down. So God said, these Goombas, they got to come down. Yeah, Nintendo World, not all it's cracked up to be right now, because
Think how great it would have been though to be on the ride as
Osaka's in a
Goombas
state of
fell.
emergency.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd
like,
be oh
okay,
my
would
God,
you
this
think
is
that
amazing.
This is so immersive
Yeah.
that these
Yeah,
Goombas are just falling. It's
Hell
no,
yeah.
that's not how it's supposed to be. But
until it falls on someone's head, and then they look like in Paper Mario when you put on the Goomba head and you run around.
oh yeah,
And it could be that in real life, except
I wish
have-
I
you
could
have-
be in Paper
you have a
Mario in
concussion.
real life. Yeah.
What was that like if you were trapped in a game for the next year?
mhm.
And
what game would it be?
but imagine if you had to be the Goomba.
Oh God.
Imagine if you had to be the Goomba on the first level. The first Goomba.
Oh my God! Oh
And
no!
you just get crushed over and over again by Mario, and every now and then by Luigi, and
And you're like, that's
that's
insult to
yes,
injury.
that's even more insulting.
But every once in a while, you get one of them.
That's true, and then you get to watch them jump up in the air and then fall off the screen. Yeah, that would be satisfying.
And then you're like, okay, I'm on a roll. Goomba's back, baby.
If
And
you
then
got
just
once you
fly
got out of
away.
that though, it would be like an in the mouth of madness situation where you're kind of like you're just done. mentally.
Can Goombas scream?
Sort of. Well, they make that noise, that like low pitched. They sound kind of like a Pokemon, I think.
Hmm.
I'll
Do some
Google it.
science.
What noise do Goomba make? Oh wait, Mario Party. Okay, Mario Party 5 Goomba sounds. Let's.
Uh,
Oh no, it's more like a squeak.
yeah, no, that's I don't know about that. They can squeak, but they can't scream.
Yeah.
Uh,
What is a Goomba
you-
supposed to be?
if you have ideas for what a Goomba scream would sound like, send them to gaming@fix.space. Send us an MP3. Send us an OGG or a FLAC. Send us a lossless file.
We will
of
listen
your-
to it on the
Yeah.
next podcast.
Yeah, we will play it for the audience, and then they can decide the best Goomba scream.
The fucking people also ask on these. It's so funny. What is a Goomba supposed to be? Is Goomba a boy or a girl? What's the difference between a Goomba and a Goomba? Who is Bowser Jr.'s mom?
It's a fair question.
What does Goomba mean in Italian? Did Luigi actually die?
So,
How old is Luigi?
Wait, hold on. Can we go back to what does Goomba mean in Italian?
You want to know the answer? It means a close friend or associate.
Oh God, what is Mario? Oh jeez.
let's see.
Is
I thought it was
Mario
just
like
gonna
John
be like.
Wick and just like going through and murdering all of his like old business associates?
Is Mario Italian? I think some of these at the bottom are asking about slurs, and I'm not going to repeat those.
No.
Well, so yeah, Nintendo World.
Did
in the
Luigi
midst
actually
of a
die?
state
Is
of
my favorite of
emergency.
those questions.
That's
Yes.
fair.
The answer is yes.
Yes, it is. Yes.
The year of Luigi was a memorial year for Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
It was Osaka's in a state of emergency. It should not be. USJ should not be open. This was an act of God telling man, stop it. Next up in Japan news, Japan's weekly. Does Famitsu do this? Let me double check. Yeah, Famitsu reports. No, so it's Famitsu reports that the weekly chart from August 2nd to 8th consisted entirely of Nintendo Switch games. Their top 30 games sold this week. I'm not sure. This is from Game Data Library, and I'm not sure if this includes digital. I think it's retail only. But yeah, 30 Nintendo Switch games make up the top sellers of retail sales in Japan. Want to take a guess at number one? Number one top selling Switch game, or number one top selling retail game in Japan this week, or last week.
Trying to think.
Trying to think of what would be new-ish, but also popular. But maybe it's not new-ish. Maybe it's one of those
Monster
ones like-
Hunt-
This.
Monster
Oh,
Hunter
yeah.
Rise.
Yes.
That is number 18.
Oh.
Mario Kart.
Number 4.
Okay.
Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
Is it even on this? That is number 14.
Okay.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario Party, number 12. Super Mario Maker 2. I don't see Super Mario Odyssey.
What?
Breath of the Wild. Why not?
No.
What on earth? What is number one then?
That is number 21. Minecraft.
Oh.
with
Oh,
Oh.
Minecraft.
14,912 copies.
I didn't know there was a retail version of Minecraft. A physical version you could buy.
I mean, of course there are, but
Well, I mean on Switch. Like I didn't know there was a current
There's one on
Switch
Switch,
package.
yeah.
sure.
Huh.
Yeah. So
I thought I was so 100% sure you got it with Monster Hunter, and then it was like way low on the list. But
no,
I
Mario
guess everybody
Kart,
already bought it. Like,
yeah, Mario
No,
Kart
I
8 Deluxe still at number 4, despite being a launch game, is like damn.
Yeah.
13,000 copies sold like more 13,615 copies sold. The retail, like wow. Another fun fact about this: it is the first time since 1988 when a single console was represented on this chart. And another fun fact: 1988, the only console considered for that chart was the Famicom. In the past, there have been like Famicom, Super Famicom, Game Boy, so like all Nintendo consoles, but there's since then has never been a single platform since 1988. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Switch going strong over here in Japan.
And in my heart.
I picked up 2 Switch games, 2 weeks ago or something, and I've been doing Let's Go Pikachu and Ring Fit, and boy, are my arms tired.
Switch has had a good year.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put our new Switch," and then everyone's like, "Oh, 4K!" Oh, but
Yeah.
it seems like people who have put their hands on that new Switch seem to like it.
Sure, it's a really nice screen.
It looks beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, I assume that'll do something for the Switch again, like it always does. Nintendo's new hardware is always moving stuff.
Oh yeah, it'll sell out.
Another thing that moves Nintendo stuff is games, and they have put out they put out an Indie World Showcase, right? That's what they did, and that had 11 games, right? With like how many came out? 3, 4? They dropped some games. Axiom Verge 2 came out, which I was very excited about personally. I still haven't played it, but I'm going to because I really like Axiom Verge 1. What else was in this? I did not get a chance to watch it.
There's going to be a new Shovel Knight game that's a puzzly Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. I am extremely excited about that because I love Shovel Knight. Shadow dropped, like we said, Garden Story, Boyfriend Dungeon. It also shadow dropped the Switch release of Islanders, which I really enjoy, which is that city building game, which is $5, which I feel like is a complete steal because that game is so good. Let's see. What else was announced? It showed Eastward, which was looked beautiful.
Looks great.
Where it's like, oh my god, I would love to play that game.
The Necro Barista Switch Edition came out.
Oh yeah, with new content because I was like, I don't know if I need to necessarily play this, but also it looks real good.
Slime Rancher Portable Edition.
Yep.
Curious Expedition.
Loop Hero is coming to Switch.
Yep.
Right.
100 Days is coming to Switch. That's kind of cool.
Oh wow.
Metal Slug Tactics, which I legit kind of want to play.
100 Days.
That's a winemaking game.
I was thinking of 80 Days. I was like, oh, why didn't they put Overboard? But then no, that's a different game.
Bomb Rush Cyberfunk looks really cool. That's a Jet Set Radio. game.
Yeah, that one looked really good. I was like that had that really fun vibe to it. So
Toem
I'm interested.
has some good ass art. It's like a picture game. Photo adventure.
Cool.
Also the next Far game, which I didn't even think they were going to make a sequel to, but that looks awesome. Changing Tides.
Let me see. We said Boyfriend Dungeon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're Astroneer coming to Switch. Yeah, they're Gang Beasts.
Yep.
It sure is.
Sure. I don't know what the state of Gang Beasts is right now, but that's cool. I like Gang Beasts.
Yeah, these indie like Nintendo indie showcases are kind of some of my favorite showcases in gaming. I mean, it introduced me to my favorite game of 2021, Nocia. But also I feel like, I don't know, I like that there's a big big push for like play these indie games. So and there's always some interesting stuff in there, like, hey, we saw that Necro Barista, which was really cool. didn't know if I needed to play that again, but then there's more stories, so now I'm like, ooh, do I need to cry again over this game? Probably.
Is it? I assume that stuff's all coming to the PC version, right?
I think so. Let me just double check.
I assume.
It's.
but-
I would assume
let's
as well.
see. It's on Switch. It's timed exclusive, but it will arrive on Steam.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I feel like there's just so many like weird little games that just get highlighted. So I was, when I saw this was coming, I was just so jazzed, and lots of cool stuff. And I immediately bought 3 games after the showcase. So that's where I'm at as with my life.
Mm-hmm. Hey, go live your best life. Like you deserve it. So yeah, Indie Showcase. And then there's gonna be a Pokemon presentation next week.
Yeah, it'll be
or
interesting.
coming up on Wednesday.
It'll be interesting because I still have high expectations for the Diamond and Pearl. I have less expectations for the Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I'm interested to see if that looks any better than what it has looked in the past.
Well, and I assume they're gonna show off something new. It'll be something weird. It won't be like a new Pokemon game. It'll be something weird and like, or it'll be a game, but it won't be
The
like
sequel to the one where they make you brush your teeth.
yeah, basically, something like that. Or like, did that Pokemon Snap expansion stuff come out?
I think so.
Maybe they'll show more stuff for Pokemon Snap or something. Like they'll show something weird, like Pokemon Go 2. Pokemon Go to the polls. They'll finally release that.
Yeah,
COVID really messed it up. It was supposed to come out 2020, but it got delayed into 2021.
Yes.
I would be interested in Let's Go for Gen 2, but
Sure.
I don't know if that'll ever happen, but
I
would
my hope.
give me Heart Gold, Soul Silver on the Switch.
I
Yeah.
agree, but also the cultural usage of Let's Go has changed, I feel, since the
So
last
you
Pokemon
want-
Let's Go.
You want Pokemon? Let's fucking go!
Yeah, we need Pokemon Let's
Silver.
fucking go.
If they did that, I would pre-order like both copies.
Oh, of
that.
course.
If they made it Let's fucking go, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing I never do, which is buy both of the versions because you deserve it.
Yeah. Man, that would be so fucking good. They'd never do it, but what if?
No, they would never do it, but it's
Society, if
Yep.
Game Freak released Pokemon Let's fucking go Silver and Gold. All right. Well, next news story. Pokemon adjacent, maybe. Knuckles the Echidna from Sonic the Hedgehog is hot. Certifiably.
that's not news.
Well, that's now only.
Sorry. I'm sorry. The news is Idris Elba will voice Knuckles the Echidna
Such
in
good
the sequel to the
casting.
Sonic the Hedgehog
I
movie.
could never have come up with better casting than that on my own.
I know. I saw that and I was just like, this is
It fucking
I-
rules.
it's so good. Sonic the Hedgehog, the first movie, was better than it had any right to be. So I'm gonna go see this one
I'm
in theaters.
so thrilled that Idris Elba has entered the phase in his career where he is just like, sounds fun, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because he has nothing left to prove because he's a phenomenal actor and has proved it
Yeah.
enough in his career
He's
that now he
been
can
the
just do
sexiest
whatever.
man.
Well, I asked this in our group chat. Like, is he just bad, like questionable movie proof because he's so great?
Yes.
People. I don't know. He was one of the weirdest parts of Cats, and it's still like, I don't know. I'm hype about Idris Elba.
He was in a film where he looked at the camera and said, "I'm Black Superman." I mean, like, the guy can do anything at this point.
Yeah, it's
He vanished a character in Cats away and just went ineffable and then disappeared. It's like he's the best though.
Yes,
Like,
he's
you're kind of
he's
like-
very good. I'm
don't
almost
know.
glad that he never got James Bond because I feel like everybody who gets James Bond eventually just like all
Eventually
they make
hates-
is spy and war movies for the rest of their
Mm.
career.
but
Uh,
Hey, wait, hold on. Pierce
Pierce
Brosnan made
Brosnan
Mamma
is
Mia,
yes. Pierce Brosnan survived
is
that curse.
the best
and
Mamma
Daniel
Mia
Craig has
top tier.
brought us the greatest character of modern cinema in
The SNL thing when he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend."
no
Yeah.
in what's his foghorn leghorn ass name?
Oh,
Oh,
Knives Out, Benoit Blanc.
In Knives Out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Benoit
you're right. I
Blanc,
forgot
yeah.
about him in Knives Out. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Like
so
that
excited
is
for
the
Knives Out
only
too.
that is the only performance of Daniel Craig that I care about, but it is
I mean, I
Oh, it
love
is
those
one
Bond
of the
movies,
flawless.
greatest.
but
It is. I don't care
Where
for the
he's
Daniel Craig
where
Bond
he's
movies,
just
but-
like walking around being like, and I remember when I did my Knives Out podcast, which is Knives Out Minute. Listen to that. But it was I think I swear I found a script where it was like where it shows like he has a kind of muted Southern accent. As like no, he's just like fucking goes for it. He is doing it. It is the best.
anyway, Idris Elba, real good.
Yep.
It just
I-
all was
I'm
great.
excited for that Sonic
Knuckles is
movie.
great. I'm hype.
Yeah,
I-
it'll be fun.
like I don't. Do we know who is playing Tails?
Oh man,
Is
who
Amy
should
in
play
this
Tails?
movie?
I floated
Who is
Big.
the human? Oh,
Big the
I
Cat.
floated Seth Rogen for Big the Cat, which I think is I'm
That-
standing by that.
You said that and it was like flawless.
I don't
That is
even
fun.
have in
perfect
my head
casting.
what Big the Cat sounds like. I just think Seth Rogen should play that character as Seth Rogen.
No, you said that and it was like yes.
Yeah.
If there's anything else, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah.
What if the Giant Bomb floated this? Post Malone as Big the Cat.
Nope. Fuck off.
Now,
Get out of
no.
here. I don't want to see
No.
Posty's face
It's
anymore.
Seth
I'm sorry. I'm
Rogen.
sick
Well, you
and
won't
tired
see
of it.
Posty's face.
I'm
You'll
tired of
see
hearing
Big
him.
the
I'm tired
Cat's
of seeing
face
him.
with Posty's voice.
I don't think there's a specific Tails actor yet, but I mean, we know that we are getting Tails after the ending of
So-
Sonic.
Are we gonna put like Amy in it, or is it gonna be like Sonic kisses a human lady, and who's
Both.
the human lady Sonic will kiss?
Both.
Wow. Okay.
Break boundaries.
Who is? Oh, they're polyamorous.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Who is the human lady that Sonic is going to kiss?
Helen
Mila
Mirren.
Kunis.
She does. She doesn't shower. Maybe that's attracted to a hedgehog. God.
I don't know why that's what I thought of. Anne Hathaway.
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's Scarlett Johansson.
Well, probably.
Scarlett Johansson is going to be Amy, but she won't be CG. It'll just be Scarlett Johansson. That's yeah. So
What's the name of the horny character?
in Sonic.
Yeah.
That's all of them.
No, but the specifically horny one.
I didn't know there was a horny character.
Oh
in
yes. Oh yes.
Sonic. Like
I am thinking of
Like they have
Rouge.
horn?
Rouge the Bat.
Rouge.
Oh,
No,
that is, yeah.
she is a horny character.
Yeah, no, that is 100. Her character
Right.
design is like we were talking about that with Naraka, but it's like Rouge is bad as like it's for being in a kids game. That's it's fucking wild.
Also, I've consumed very little Sonic media in my life. Rouge the Bat is also actively horny in the games. Like her character is very much like just inside of kid friendly. Like she wants to fuck them all, right?
Hmm.
I thought that was her thing.
I don't know. Wow. Yeah. She has like a push-up bra
Mm-hmm,
and
Uh-huh.
What is going on? Okay, no, this DeviantArt picture made
Yeah,
it
I
look
would-
real weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to
Oh,
DeviantArt for your Rouge the Bat
No,
art.
yeah.
no, it wasn't DeviantArt.
I
It was
thought one of you
nice
two-
PNG. But it looks like a DeviantArt picture. Don't Google Rouge the Bat. I mean, it's not like just don't do it. You don't need this in your life.
I bring it up because oh my god, yeah, some of this is I don't know what I expected. I'm a little surprised at how high up in the search results some of this stuff is. That's
Oh
what-
God, yeah, I know.
God,
I
what is
googled it
happening
too.
here? Sonic fans are perverts.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
this isn't new.
Yeah, we've already Oh, I saw.
There
There's a mouse pad. There's a mouse
Oh
pad.
god, there's always a
God.
mouse pad.
Oh no, it's
There-
actually only a pin. But why is that not a mouse pad? Okay, I don't know.
Anyway, my
can't
point
remember the
was
exact
not
tweet. Oh,
who
yeah.
would play Rouge the Bat. My point was, like, are we gonna have a, like, now that Lola Bunny looks reasonable and
Oh,
stuff?
There is
Is-
definitely a mouse pad.
Are the
Okay, I found
SJWs
it.
going to come for Rouge the Bat?
Yeah,
next? Is that what you're
is
saying?
Rouge the Bat, when Rouge the Bat makes it
Oh,
into the
no,
Sonic
okay.
films?
Okay, like let's just. Now I'm seeing all these Sonic mouse pads. Never mind, anime was a mistake.
Sonic is not anime.
There might be a Sonic anime, but Sonic himself
No.
is not anime.
This is video games'
See,
fault.
those are two separate thoughts. Like
Rouge the
I
Bat
saw
existed in video games before she existed in anime.
This is true. Anime
Why-
was fine until Rouge the Bat was anime.
You know what I don't understand? If you're gonna make that's a Rouge the Bat farting. That's weird. If you're gonna
Oh,
make a
God.
horny Rouge the Bat, why would you make her look more like a person? Isn't the whole point like you're
she's a-
into the, like, animal part of the thing? I don't understand.
Don't try to, like. There was a very funny tweet that I saw. It was like someone saying like, it's like, oh, Idris Elba is gonna make a bunch of people want to fuck an echidna, and then a follow-up tweet. I'm now understanding that a bunch of you already wanted to.
Yeah,
fuck
that's what I'm
dolls."
saying.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's weird to me to make your sexy deviant art Rouge the Bat art her as more like a person, because, like,
Hey,
What's-
people can do
You're
whatever
not
they
you're
want.
not a
People,
furry, but you just really like Rouge the Bat, and there's nothing wrong with that.
hey, people contain multitudes.
like okay, let's move on.
Rouge the Bat contains multitudes.
It's very
I
funny.
can't
This is
speak to Rouge the Bat.
I
have zero
closed
experience with
I
the
closed
character.
the Rouge the Bat tab, and the first thing my eyes went to, because we went over to a Twitter tab, was that Noam Chomsky is trending, and to go from Rouge the Bat to Noam Chomsky trending was a very funny journey for my brain to take just now.
I just keep wondering if
Whiplash.
there's people walking outside my apartment if they hear me talking out loudly about Rouge the Bat.
They don't know who Rouge the Bat is.
Or they do, and you should be scared of those people.
Yeah, I should be scared to live here now. If other people in this building know who Rouge the Bat is.
Just put up pictures of Rouge the Bat around the apartment and see if any disappear. You have to put like an air tag on them, so that way when they disappear, you can find out who took it. Be like,
Oh, sure.
got to stay away from this person. Yeah. So that's your Sonic news. I can't believe I'm actually looking forward to a Sonic the Hedgehog movie sequel, but here we are.
Yeah, no.
Next news story. Let me hold on. Okay. Next news story. Infamous bathroom streamer Dr. Disrespect is starting a game studio. I guess they're making some sort of battle royale, was my understanding.
Very original.
Yeah. Guy Bream, I believe, is his name, and he was a level designer for Call of Duty, also, as I understand. So he's
Is that
got
before or after he
experience.
cheated on his wife?
Maybe during, I don't know, contemporaneously. I cannot
It just pisses
say.
him off whenever you bring that up, and he's garbage, so whatever.
Yeah. Bathroom streamers, like, I don't even know.
I wonder if
Who knows how long? Who knows if this will ever actually come out? The guy's got a
No,
lot of money,
yeah.
so he can fund a team to make a thing. But like, how far does that get? Blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
if you don't want to see Dr. Disrespect's game fail, I would recommend looking up some clips of Dr. Disrespect, because that guy is a lot worse than just the bathroom streaming.
Yeah.
The amount of
but
like
I feel like that's the most. I
oh
don't know.
totally, it's the most
Yeah.
visible thing, but I didn't know like just how bad he was until around the time that happened. And like, man, the casual misogyny and racism on his streams is just wild. It is really depressing that kids watch that stuff. Like, Ninja sucks. I think I've seen a lot of like shitty bullying from Ninja, which is not cool that kids get exposed to it. But Dr. Disrespect is like the stuff he says is like, how the fuck did you get a YouTube deal? Did anybody watch your streams? Because it's awful.
Yeah. People eat it up though. It's
I know, it's
For
weird.
3.44 million subscribers. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't. It's sad.
I'm still waiting to hear what people acted like. Oh, there's some real stuff is going to come out about him with like the Twitch ban, and then just nothing ever came of that.
I bet he pissed somebody off at Twitch or something.
Probably. He was probably like talking like, oh, and then word got back to Twitch or whatever. And like, okay, you're gone.
Yeah.
You talking about violating your contract. You're done.
Yep.
Maybe. Who knows? But
who knows?
People were real like, oh, hush hush, like whispering, and then nothing. Like, oh, come on, why you gotta be like that? And our last news story is it's a quickie. Xbox Cloud Gaming, or xCloud if you're nasty, is now available on PC.
When I know I used xCloud on PC like a month and a half ago.
That could have been beta.
Might have been that it was beta. Yeah. Okay.
Or like it is now widely available. I believe you do have to be a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber to utilize it, which for me is a bummer because I don't have an Xbox. I've thought about buying an Xbox, then I would use it, but also I don't have a need for. But if you're like Allison, and you've got just a laptop, that could be a great option for you. If you if you had like an Xbox Series S or something, you were on the move, or if you say had a Steam Deck, and then you're like, oh, I just want to play some like cloud games on my Steam Deck, that could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they're getting that out, more available. It still uses mostly Xbox One S hardware, or like blades and their servers. They're upgrading those to One X, I think, or they're starting to. I don't even know. They're upgrading their stuff to like be more powerful. And,
it was not a very good experience when I used it, but it would be better than. I would assume that if you have a Chromebook or something, that it would be better than trying to run something natively. Not that you even could on a Chromebook, but I'm sure that's better than some experiences. It worked better on phone for me, I think, too. I don't know why the fidelity seemed a little better on phones, but
who knows? But definitely a nice thing for them to get out there to spread some more that cloud gaming goodness. But as always with the cloud gaming, your experience will vary depending on your connection and distance to data centers and all that stuff. I saw some quote from Phil Spencer saying that like they had talked to platform holders about Game Pass on their platforms, and none of them were interested, which obviously we haven't seen anything, but I think there's still hope someday, maybe, but not anytime soon. And they all seem to be doing their own thing, but built in. Isn't there something about Game Pass being built into some TVs now, or like on the way?
That was their plans. Phil Spencer talked about wanting that to be a thing.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's happening again. Last week on the Mario Party thing, they hit a point where they kept rolling fives to get to this spot that sent them backwards, and then they'd roll a 5 to go backwards, and they kept doing it over and over again, and it's happening again in a different spot.
This is your life now.
Yes, I hate this.
Back in June, they said that they're partnered with Samsung to bring xCloud to TVs and other Samsung products, so like tablets and phones and whatnot.
Waluigi rolled a 4.
Thank God, Waluigi, always saving us from the hellscape we live in. But any other? Oh, I saw. So Battlefield 2042 is having like a technical test. Like on PC, it was going, and then console's supposed to roll
I know
out.
Multiple people who got into that, and I'm real pissed.
Well, you know who's probably really pissed too, PS5 players, because they canceled the PS5 test
They
because
canceled
of
it. Oh, one of the people I know is a PS5 player.
because there was some sort of issue. Let me pull up the story. Critical issue. Xbox invites fine, they went out, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be. Yeah, so there will be future play tests they might do, they say, but that's brutal. But you know, it's you can't like count on that stuff. Like you know,
No, you're
it's a
not
test
owed.
for a reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
didn't pay for a technical test.
I continue. Did you see this is kind of news. Did you see what their what's it called? Uplink? They have a mode that they had like described as like one of the pillars of the game.
The
There's
multiplayer stuff.
There's the multiplayer stuff. There's like
Or
the base
what,
multiplayer.
like not the portal.
Portal.
Not
There's
Battlefield Portal.
there's the base multiplayer, there's the portal, and then there's this like uplink or whatever mode. I forget what it's called, but it came out that it's essentially Tarkov, but with Battlefield, which
So it's just like big map, like
big map
survival,
survival game, small squads. It's not a battle royale, but you're going around trying to complete little missions to upgrade your loot, which is what Tarkov is. They said it has a little bit of Hunt Showdown inspiration too.
It's like persistent.
Presumably, I don't know. There was not a lot of further details, but if
Weird. That game is like not that far out, and they haven't talked about it. That's weird. Like probably at Gamescom, that's coming up. So.
Yeah, but man, if that game does like well polished Tarkov in addition to looking like the raddest multiplayer shooter in years, holy shit, that would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be
because conceptually, Tarkov is on another level. Like the stuff that game does is amazing, but it's also pretty clunky to play and really hard. And extremely Eastern European. So it's not everybody's cup of tea, but if they could find a way to make that like more palatable, that could be enormous, huge blow up for them. Because Tarkov is like, I think that game could be like the next battle royale, the next kind of like, oh shit, we have to pivot all of our battle royales to have something like this in them. With the way that it's designed.
And that Fortnite will have it in like, by January.
I'm honestly surprised Fortnite doesn't already have it, frankly. Because Tarkov's like if you kind of mixed the battle royale genre with Destiny, that's really the closest that you can, or really Diablo is a better example because you do inventory Tetris, but yeah.
Well, that, I think we can wrap up with that bombshell of a, there is some footage from
you can find
test,
leaked
which
footage.
isn't supposed to be out there, but
it looks fine.
Want to check that out?
It looks like Battlefield.
Yeah,
if it plays well and the maps are good, that's the thing that matters to me. There's some very cool footage of the like in-game menu that you use to put your attachments on the guns. That seems to be a big thing this time out. Is you change the attachments on your guns on the fly, which is cool. Also a very Tarkov thing. So
I just remembered. So remember Abandoned?
Oh yeah, we should hit on Hazard Zone. By the way, is the name of that mode, not Uplink.
Oh, okay. So Abandoned, the game by Blue Box that everyone was losing their minds over, assuming it was like some Kojima secret project, Silent Hills revived or whatever. They put out their their real-time experience app on the PS5 where people could download it, and it's going to be updated over time with new trailers and playable things and blah blah blah. And it got delayed for some reason. There are like some technical issues, and then like a few days ago they put out like a little mini trailer. They're like, oh, soon. And then finally, like today or yesterday, I guess Friday, the program updated and people got in, and there are like space for a few trailers, but there's only one available right now, and like a few spaces for playable things. The trailer in the app is exactly what they uploaded to Twitter, maybe with like 5 extra seconds on it or something, but like the whole thing is like 20 seconds long and shows basically nothing. Shows a very nice floor texture. And it's just incredible. People are like so mad. It's so funny.
Well, and I saw some stuff. I don't know. I haven't done the investigating, so this it could be bullshit. But somebody put together a timeline of Blue Box Studios. This is not the first thing they've done, or at least
No.
not the first thing they've announced. They've been
No,
announcing
no.
games and then going, oh, technical issues, delay, and then the game just disappears for like 6 years.
Yeah.
They had one game that they put out in early access on Steam that was a disaster, and then they sold it to another studio to fix, and then the studio just didn't do anything with it. Like it's like the whole thing is
It's Kojima
total-
playing the long game.
no, it's not.
Oh
I know
god.
It's not. It's a bad studio that is in over their heads
It's
that got too much press.
the real wild thing is like what did Sony see to go like, you know what? We're giving you a big like highlight spot on the PlayStation blog, which seems to be like kind of their thing for indies at this point. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll throw you on the PlayStation blog. We won't do a whole video or whatever. And you know, like they got people talking, and now like, what is you doing? It's out of this world. But yeah, since I haven't like worked myself up into believing like, oh, it's Kojima, it's gonna be Silent Hill. Like I'm not. I'm just like, what?
The problem is that
Are we gonna actually see anything? Like, when is this game coming out? What is happening?
the problem
Why?
is too that it doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter how painfully obvious it is that it's nothing. People still like. I'm looking at a post from yesterday after it was just that shitty thing of someone freeze framing a shot that doesn't look anything at all like a shot from PT, and then putting it next to a shot from PT to imply that there's a connection.
God.
Like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
People plan themselves. They work themselves into a shoot.
They said that there were multiple engine issues and graphical glitches, and that's why they had to delay the trailer, the 6-second teaser trailer. Like, I don't.
They made like everything harder on themselves by making this app, like, because they're also uploading everything online. They're like, oh, you can watch it in real time, like, and like, sure, like things are gonna look better in your PS5 than they do in a YouTube window, but also, why'd you waste your time making this app? Just put out, like, if you want to make a playable thing, put that out.
What
Don't
they're-
do this other like, oh, real time experience. Like, no, we don't care.
I think what the reason they're doing all this is investment money.
Maybe.
I mean, they have to have investors because they've never actually put
Yeah.
anything out, and they still exist.
Yeah, the investors, Hideo Kojima. See,
Oh, God.
follow the money.
And so either Sony gave them some cash or somebody gave them some
Lost
money,
First Legacy.
and this is all just hype building to try to make that happen. I don't know. It's
I don't know if based on like what we heard about Sony's interactions with indies from like, you know, that stuff that came out a little bit ago. Like, I have a hard time believing that Sony is like actually doing much at all with this. Maybe they talk to them about like the real time experience app, because that's like kind of a new thing.
Mhm.
But also it's just like it's a new idea for this kind of stuff, but also it's just you're in a menu and you're pushing a button. If anything, the app made me think of Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8, with like the aesthetic, and yeah, that's what it made me think of. Not Silent Hill, not Kojima. Resident Evil.
Yep.
Resident Evil 9 coming this January. Confirmed. It's not. But what if? What if it was? I can dream. Speaking of dreaming, I should probably go to sleep real
Oh,
soon
that's
here,
great.
because I gotta get up.
I got
Some
race cars
Dungeons
to
and
drive,
Dragons. Yep.
and then race cars to watch, and Dungeons and Dragons to play. It's gonna be a big day.
Dungeons to Dragon and Dragons to Dungeon.
Cars
That.
to NAS.
Don't be careful with that NAS. Don't want to blow up or something. Blow a fuel gauge. That is going to do it for episode 185 of the Gaming Fix podcast on August 14th, 2021. You can find the podcast wherever fine podcasts are distributed and downloaded. You can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/fixpodcasts or fix.space if you want to head over to our website for some reason, where you can find links to our RSS feeds and Spotify and all that good stuff, if that's how you like to do things. You can send us questions to gaming@fix.space. Send us your Goomba cries, Goomba screams, your best Goomba scream as a FLAC or OGG file. You can leave us a review on podchaser.com/gamingfix. That really helps us out. And or on whatever platform, iTunes, I guess, is the most common podcast review platform. I don't know about other podcast reviews. I never review podcasts. I shouldn't say that. Go review our podcasts.
Mhm.
We'll love you forever if you do. You can find me, Andre, aka your partner's favorite machine, on Twitter at Coolslaw, COOLSL4W. Pat, where can people find you?
You can find me at PJC Plays on Twitter.
And Allison.
You can find me on Twitter at WRITERSERENYTY.
And thank you to Jeff Davis at Stranger Peace on Twitter for letting us use or for making us our theme music. Very much appreciate that. And thanks to you, the listener. Stay wet, gamers.
We don't say it enough.
We don't say it enough. Stay wet, gamers. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Got to
And
clap
let's get-
for
yep,
Yeah.
Allison.
Thank
Next
you.
clap.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, don't worry
no
about it.
problem.
Let's see. I forgot to make timestamps for
Oh,
like
where
the
are we?
first two topics. Oh yeah.
When
Oh,
are we clapping?
we all ready? Let's go 35.
35?
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Mhm.
No problem.
All right, and stop.
Saving.
And
Saving
stop.
project as 184, right?
185.
5.
You didn't update.
Somebody made